What's up? Okay. Cultured Boy is changing forever. Actually, okay. Thanks for coming here. I'm Calvin, the Cultured Boy. I cracked the cult. That's my claim to fame. I crack cults for a living, well, sort of like a hobby. And the first cult I ever cracked was my own. Not one that I started. I didn't start a cult. I was born into one. And I did something so impossible, which is, there's this saying that the last creature on the planet to ever discover water is a fish. And just like that, the last kind of people to discover a cult are cult members. So I feel pretty special that I did that. But for real though, so this is Cultured Boy, my show, and it has been experimental with different things. And so I know there are some people listening like, wait, experimental? Is he about to say that no more Cultured Boy forever? The channel's going away? And no more episodes? What's he saying? Here's the news. I am no longer doing episodes like I've currently been doing. Okay, so I love this. I actually love filmmaking. I actually love storytelling. I love Cultured Boy. And this is what it feels like. It feels like Cultured Boy, this show, is evolving. It's like this organic thing that's like growing. And it's kind of annoying to have the fucking... Okay. You're going to get my bare, naked eyes. This is how I am in the wild. Anybody listening, just listening, I'm taking my glasses off for the rest of this episode. Just because it's glaring on the light. Okay. The last several episodes, by the way, have been like these sleep drunk episodes where it's been late and I've recorded, and this is also one of those. I almost did this episode laying in bed like the other episodes, but I decided not to, even though it is late. New York City is asleep, that's how late it is. Like, you don't hear anything, and New York City never sleeps. But it is late enough that I'm going to be going to bed right after this. But I wanted to come and do this episode for anybody that was expecting an episode for this week, and also let you know how things are actually changing. Cultured Boy is an evolving organism. It has mostly been a podcast, but it's going to change from being just a podcast. I'm making it somewhere between 10 and 100 times more difficult for me as a creator, on purpose, because I want to, because I want it to be something that I'm more proud of making. Now, why am I bringing this up? Because what is it shifting to? Let's actually go there first. Instead of just being conversations where I've done solo episodes like this. I've also had some really interesting people on. Like, one of my favorites is probably Johnny Harris, YouTuber, ex-Mormon. I've also had, people that are in the sex space, other ex-cult members, other ex-cult members and that sort of thing. And I will continue to talk to really cool people. But I have been living by a life philosophy since leaving the cult a few years ago and moving from the small town that I was born in, becoming the black sheep of my family, to then move to New York City. Like, it's all been guided by this principle of leaning in to what feels true or truer, and seeing what happens. And crazy shit has happened from that. Like, actually, my apartment where I live here is from just leaning in of what feels truer. And that's happening with Cultured Boy, this show as well. So there's several things that are going to shift, but I'm going to start doing the shows, several shows, more Anthony Bourdainian. I'm very inspired by Anthony Bourdain, and I feel like his perspective on the world is being sorely missed right now. Anthony Bourdain was a chef and traveler, writer, but one thing that he did so well is he didn't just invite guests to his space. He went to their space. And in a way, to me, for you as the viewer, that's way better. That's way better. It's way fucking better. It just is. I just believe in this. I believe in this so hardcore that I still want to have deep, meaningful conversations, but I want it to be closer to the action. So there's going to be a blend. There's going to be conversations, but there's also going to be story involved. So that's one big thing, and we could untangle that more. But here's the other thing I want to make sure that you know. A big part of my journey, stepping into this Calvin the artist role, and even learning that, being like, whoa, what do I like to make? Like, I've written a children's book. I have written a nonfiction book. I did the documentary this year when I went to Israel, Palestine. Like, I'm leaning into that. But part of the creative aspect of my journey is also learning about my rhythms. I'll be honest, what I'm doing, there's several things I'm doing, but escaping, like decoding a cult. There's this newfound, how do I put this? I'm finding a new confidence. And where does the confidence come from? Well, you have to understand the context. Most people, when they think of escaping a cult, it seems like, who wouldn't want to leave a cult? Who would stay? But when it's all you know, when it is all you fucking know, you're not just leaving a cult. You're leaving an identity. You're leaving a worldview. It feels like you're breaking down in your entire life. It's kind of like leaving a relationship, because that's what it was. It was a relationship to reality. It was like existential to make that commitment of, I'm leaving this. And with that, I actually did leave relationships as well. Like the closest people that I grew up with became estranged overnight in that decision, let alone an arranged marriage, a fallout with my parents for a while, especially my dad, having to get that back, all that. But it's been a few years now, and thank God for therapy, thank God for mushrooms, thank God for ayahuasca, thank God for journaling, thank God for a lot of reflection, thank God for long walks in New York City, conversations with friends. You really start to, it's been such a journey of unpacking it all and seeing what happened and learning about human nature and learning about how something like this happened, what makes people break away from the norms of society to then have 13 wives and call that normal. My grandfather had 13 wives, and my dad had 4 wives and then have 45 kids, counting me, So I have 44 siblings. Like, what makes that happen? That is fascinating as I've uncovered it. And again, that's a whole other thread that I could talk about. But the main point I'm bringing up is, as I've stepped away from this and have dissected it all and learned some things, I reflect about the time, and I'm in a place in my life right now where I'm genuinely finding joy in the path that I'm on and the path that I've taken, even though it's hard as fuck sometimes, because especially the financial piece is not solved yet. YouTube, I want to be a big piece of it. And I'm just being like, okay, create the stuff I want to make, and then trust and lean into that, and then know that there's going to be an audience there if I just keep it real. Like, that's the bet that I'm making, and there's no guarantees. But as I reflect on this and I feel how good life is right now, and then I reflect back to when I left, here's what you have to know. There wasn't a single person in my life, not a single fucking soul that was in my life, that thought what I was doing was a good idea. Not a one. Nobody was like, oh yeah, Calvin, you should definitely leave everything. You should definitely leave this. You should definitely leave your marriage. You should definitely, like your arranged marriage, you should definitely start your life over. Nobody said that. There was only one person on the planet that thought that was a good idea. This guy, me. And I wasn't even sure of that. Why am I bringing this up in relation to the journey I'm on now, the feeling good now, the joy and the depth I'm finding in life, and where this show is going? Here's the first main point. I was fucking right. I was right. I mean, I can't even take credit for it. I'm not that religious, but the best language I got is my soul, my gut was right. Even though every motherfucker in my life told me I wasn't. That realization. Now, of course, I don't want to get fucking too, what's the word? Cocky and do something stupid and be like, oh, I can handle anything. But that's not what I'm saying. That's actually not my point. My point is, when I get quiet with myself and I figure out what I actually want, I think my gut it gets it. And so I'm trying to lean into that more. I'm trying to find my rhythm, because there are literally things that I could not have made sense of with my head at the time. Like, leaving was a gut decision, ultimately. Everything was set up for me, for the religion. Like, it's set up for dudes. I was going to have multiple wives. I would have had probably 20-something kids. I would have had high status. And I left it. And I was living in a small town in the middle of fucking nowhere on the Utah-Arizona border. And then I decided, you know what? I'm going to start life over at 30 when I'm supposed to be settling down, and I'm going to live in the richest. I mean, yes, that too. But I like saying that, the richest city, because then that's a reframe instead of saying the most expensive city. The richest city. I'm in the richest city in the world, in America at least. None of that made sense on paper at the time of the decision, but it was right. And so I want to keep leaning into that mode of being where I may not know exactly where it's leading, but I'm gonna fucking trust it because it has done so well. And even if it doesn't make sense to anybody else. And because I left a cult, here's one of the other things I'm gonna be shifting. Actually, I want to document what I'm about to say, because since this is like, I don't know if my next episode is going to be my next episode is definitely not going to be a solo episode. I don't know when I'm going to do another solo episode, so I want to document it now. Sort of the game that I'm playing with myself right now, with life, with content, with making a YouTube show. First of all, do you have any idea how ridiculous this would have sounded to me years ago? Like just a few years ago to say, yo, Calv, you're going to leave everything you've ever known. You're going to start wearing short sleeves, because I wear short sleeves now and I didn't back then. You're going to date a lot. You're going to hook up with a lot of chicks. You're going to not have an arranged marriage. You're going to go from small town to big city. That would have sounded insane to me. I would have been like, no way. But there's several other pieces that would have sounded insane. And it's how I'm choosing to operate with money and with my career. So all that sounded crazy. And here's something that still sounds a little bit crazy, but I'm leaning into it. And it is making my career being me. That's the game I'm playing with myself. I am going to set up my life and my career. My profession is being Calvin. That sounds insane right now in this moment on the 25th of November, a month out from Christmas, 2025. But a lot of things in my past have sounded insane. And so I want to do it. And I want to see where it leads. And I'll be honest, it leads to a lot of fucking stress sometimes, especially right now, because I'm the deepest in debt that I've ever been. And there was an identity I've had once where I'm like, I'm debt-free and I'm never going to get in debt ever again. Well, Calv, you got in debt again. But why am I doing it? Because I'm trying to put the foundation in of the thing I actually want. And the thing I actually want is I want to create shit that's interesting to me. Cultured Boy is interesting, and I want to keep making it more interesting. That's why I'm doing stuff that's harder than just a podcast, because it's more interesting to me. So the game is not just to make something that I can make and make it work. That's actually, that's the paradox in this whole thing. Like, money has to be set aside to make this the thing I want. Because my goal is, well, here's my thought process. If I'm going to make a career being me and doing the shit that I care about, there's two pieces there. Yes, it's making money doing what I'm doing, but I also need to be doing shit I actually want to do. And that is what's in my control right now. Doing shit I actually want to do. So that's been my plan. Now, more details that I want to document to anybody watching this and also to myself for the future, because I like doing that. I like documenting stuff. I've been doing it forever. I've been documenting, like, even though I grew up in a cult and I left and now I've been shooting content the last couple of years, I've been documenting my life forever. And I have my entire life has some sort of documentation, from photos to audio notes to journal entries. I've been journaling every day since I was 17. And so I have decades of documentation, which I like. So in the spirit of that, the other game I'm playing with myself that I started in January. So in transparency to myself for future Calvin, in this moment, Calvin, future Calvin, you are in the deepest in debt you've ever been. And as of right now, you have been tempted to break that, to go do something, to make money, to relieve the pressure. But you've committed to not, for now, to play this out. So why am I playing it out? Why am I not going and doing something like part-time to make money? And why am I putting all of my focus and attention on Cultured Boy and filmmaking and being an artist and that sort of thing? Here's why. I'm pretending the AI, everybody's worried about the AI apocalypse, that it's going to take a lot of jobs and people aren't going to know what to do. I think they're right. I think the AI apocalypse is nigh. It is not that far off, whether it's in the next year, 10 years, somewhere in that range. People are losing their jobs already. And it's terrifying. And I also feel deep down in my bones that not only is it terrifying, I think it can become, I really believe it can also become the best thing that ever happened to humanity. Because people are going to have nowhere else to go except to be themselves. And that might be scary at first, because they've been playing some fucking role in a corporate job that they hate. And then they're going to have to face themselves. They're going to have to ask themselves the uncomfortable questions, why they've betrayed themselves to do stupid shit, trade time for money. And then after all that, I think they can find this thing that's like, oh, there's this thing I liked 20 years ago. I like playing the violin. Could I play the violin and do something with that? Maybe. And then they're going to go viral on TikTok playing the violin. Or somebody's going to be like, ooh, when I was really little, I liked making sculptures of some strange kind. I'm going to do that. And people are going to lean in the things that they want to do, and it's going to make the world better. That's what I think can happen. The transition from current state to that is going to be rocky. It's going to be a rough road. What does that have to do with what I'm doing? Well, here's something that I noticed, that I've learned in myself, that what I like doing. And there's even this strange, I'm noticing like almost like mythology around it. What I like doing as a human being, for siblings, maybe for if I act as the younger brother to humanity or whatever, I love going first. Not as in cut in line, give me the bagel first. I don't mean that. I love going first on the things that are scary, that everybody is going to have to do eventually. But I love going and trying it, figuring it the fuck out, going through the trials and the errors, breaking through, and then sharing it. Like nothing, like, again, all these things, it's just wild. Like I'm just finding these things that like light me up, and I'm taking note of it. I'm like, I don't know why that feels good to me. Like some people love acting, and they love being on a Broadway show, or they love fixing people's fucking carburetor. I am finding like I love going first, figuring it out, and then giving it to people. Like that feels good to me. It genuinely lights me up. And I love expressing myself. I love being artistic, which is also new because I wasn't doing anything artistic before Cultured Boy. Not really, besides the fact of writing my daughter, Belle, a children's book, Mistakes Are A-OK, Maggie May. That's really the first thing. But I'm finding all these things about myself now that I'm living out of the tyranny of a controlling system. And it's just fun to see like, oh, that's what lights me up when I'm not being told what to do. And so that's why I'm sort of pretending, and I've been pretending, and it's why I'm not taking any jobs to make money at this point. I'm pretending the AI apocalypse happened in January of this year, 2025. That's when I quit my day job stuff to go all in on this. And where I'm doing everything I fucking can to just keep on creating, keep on posting. But I'm excited about it, and it's getting fun, even in the risk, which then tells me that, wow, that's interesting. Why am I having fun? Like, this probably would be stressful as fuck for a lot of people. And it would have been at different parts of my life, which is also weird. Because I'm, again, living in the richest city, the most expensive city in America, New York City. There are no guarantees of this or anything that I make working, but I feel at home. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to trust this. I'm going to lead into this. Now, tying this back to something that some people are not going to be happy about. I was actually going to say at the front of the episode, but I'll share it now. Some people might have gotten used to a cadence of me posting a Cultured Boy episode every week. That, as of this video, is done. I'm stopping that. I'm stopping having any sort of cadence. Now, could that change in the future? We'll see. As of today, I'm not doing that anymore. Now, people, you might say, why? I know some people might want to watch a video every week, and I might even have peers like YouTube friends, because I have YouTube friends that actually are the ones that convinced me to start doing it more consistently, which I did and everything. Like, that's not good for the audience, not good for the algorithm, blah, 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 blah. But this is why it makes all the sense in the world. In this particular chapter, at this particular moment in my creative process, it is going to be good for Calvin. And if it's good for Calvin, it's good for YouTube. It's good for the audience. It's good for everything. Like, that's what I'm doing. I'm learning my rhythm. I'm learning my flow. And this is what I've learned. Right now, especially when I'm in experimentation mode, I need to not have interruption of different things. And I'm working on a creative episode right now that really should be my entire focus. But I've had other obligations that I have put on myself that interrupt that flow. I don't want to do that right now. And there's several reasons for it. Number one is, again, it's just arbitrary to say, time's made up anyway, by the way. There's no such thing as like 7 days in a week. Like, that's all made up. Like, I have this semi-viral TikTok that I'm like, everything's made up. Like, everything. Yes, basketball, the rules to basketball, the rules to football, but the rules to run your day is also made up. Like, quite literally. Like, working 8 hours a day, 7 days in a week, and then I say Tuesdays aren't real, and that's everybody, like, which is literally true. Like, it's made up. We named it names, and it could have been anything else. So my point is, what I'm kind of doing is finding what works for my very nature. And it's kind of weird, like, sort of having a humility with not pretending that I should know already, because that's really what making these decisions is. Like, when I'm watching some YouTuber like Colin and Samir, YouTubers saying this is the right way to go along. If I go with what they say, or, I mean, no shade to Colin and Samir, no shade to Mr. Beast, no shade to anybody that is doing it their way. If I start doing it, that's sort of like pretending that I know myself fully and that it's the right way to work for me. But if there's anything I've learned in my life, with having 44 siblings, growing up in the same house, 5 parents, traveling the world, going to Thailand, going to Israel, talking to Palestinians, talking to people in fucking Canada, and Costa Rica, talking to every walk of life here in New York City, from the black population to Indians to Koreans to Chinese to other white people to rich people to billionaires to poor people, like, and everything in fucking between. Politicians. Shout out Mom Dami. I hung out. I don't know. Am I saying his name right? Mom Donnie. Yeah. Like, here's one thing I've learned with all the kinds of people I've met over the years, especially since leaving the cult. Everybody is different. Everybody's different. Everybody's different. Everybody's different. If you're listening to this, if you're watching this, I don't care if you're an identical fucking twin. You are not the same. And you know it, even to your identical twin. Why the fuck are we pretending and setting up our life like we're just another human being? It's insanity. It's driving me nuts. It's driven me nuts. It's also drove me out of the religion that I was born in. I was like, no, this is stupid. Like, growing up in fundamentalist Mormonism, like, there was even some people would joke like that if everybody was exactly the way they were supposed to be and they were completely obedient. Some people believe this, but some people didn't. But so there's that one disclaimer. But a lot of people believe that in heaven it's going to be hard to tell who is who, because men and women are going to dress similarly, look similarly, they're going to have a similar glow. Boring. I don't want to go to that heaven. No, fuck that. The thing I love about New York is I can run around all throughout this city like I did today, like I did yesterday, like I did on Sunday. And I can bump into so many different people and never meet the same person. Like, you know what I'm talking about, right? Like, where you're in the same, I mean, if anybody's from the same small town, or if you're in the same neighborhood, like, you bump into somebody like, I've seen you before. Like, you didn't really see this person before, but they're like other people. Here's my theory. If somebody is like somebody else, somebody's bullshitting. Somebody is just copying something. Somebody is outsourcing their identity to the average collective of either the group they're in, or of culture, or of society, or they're not being genuine. Because if you're being genuine, you're going to recognize that you're different from anybody. Anybody that's alive now, and anybody that ever was alive and ever will be. For fuck's sakes. So why would we design our life and live it like we're just like somebody else? That is how society is right now. Society is set up to, like, you're like herd animals. Like, that's how I think about the education system. That's got to be completely demolished and built from the ground up with curiosity as the core. Like, AI will be used to freaking actually not make geniuses. I think kids already have a genius in them, and it's fucking squashed instead of actually facilitated. But education system herds you in like rows, like fucking cattle, listening to the one person at the front that like they know everything, and then go to college for 4 years and be like have you ever watched a graduation ceremony? It's disgusting, because it's like everybody looks the goddamn same. Everybody's going through a line. Congratulations. And that's no shade on the accomplishment. It's a huge accomplishment. It's a lot of work. But I remember when I did my graduation, I was like, oh shit, I'm not nearly as unique as I thought. But I am. I fucking am. I just had to go through a different system. And I think anybody listening to this, you're unique too. So why the fuck would you do anything except figure out how to set life up to fit that uniqueness? It took me forever to come to this. Like, I've been trying to break myself for years to be a Gary V entrepreneur, or to be an Alex Hermosi. Actually, I never wanted to be Alex Hermosi, to be frank. Smart dude, really smart dude. In fact, Alex Hermosi is fitting what I'm saying. There's nobody else like Alex Mosey. He's a fucking animal. And his wife, Layla. Like, they're freaking, like, these entrepreneurs, like, insane. There's no David Goggins. That's great. And there's no Gary Vee. And I wouldn't want to be any of those people because I want to be Calvin. That sounds exciting to me. Who the fuck is Calvin? And that's what I'm figuring out. And I like what I'm leaning into. So how does this tie to career? How it ties to career is I know that I want to make a living being me. And so I'm figuring out what that is and how to do that. And it's one of the reasons why I'm not doing weekly episodes anymore, because I'm in this phase of figuring out what it is, and I don't want to be interrupted in the process. But here's one thing I do know. When I post something to YouTube or Apple or wherever the fuck I post it, I don't want to post it because I'm fitting some quota. I think the audience will feel that. Like, I want to post something and share something because it mattered to me. Because I created something. I spent fucking time on it. And went on some quest to figure something out. I want what I'm sharing and what I'm making to actually feel like I want it to feel like, oh my God, I don't know what this is, but I've never seen it before. And that will happen if I only create what actually matters. I really feel like that's going to happen by default. I'm done listening to Colin and Samir. Again, love you guys. I'm done listening to Mr. Beast. I'm done listening to any YouTuber, except in packaging, maybe. My packaging, like title, thumbnail, that's going to need to be sharpened. I'll help with that. But, and it's not that it's not even that I'm closed off from learning. I am such a sponge right now. I'm learning a lot. But what I'm not doing anymore is I'm not following somebody else's blueprint. I'm making my own. And the truth is, it's probably already made. That's what I'm feeling in my bones, is like, we all are so different, and all we got to do is shut the fuck up to everybody. Like, get quiet so you can feel what is interesting to you and lean into what is interesting. Like, I still like listening to people. Like, I like watching real artists. Like, I love watching Casey Neistat stuff because that's his stuff. I love watching Emma Chamberlain sometimes because it's not my style, but it's so her. Like, I love learning from somebody that it's their thing, not like, here's the formula that works right now. Because you can't formulate authenticity, for fuck's sakes. It's so annoying. Kind of like annoying for some people for how much I say fuck. I apologize if it annoys you. I will probably say it 3 to 5 more times before this episode is over. Fair warning. But along this line of this year of like learning about myself and learning about what's interesting to me. Here's something else I noticed, and I know you're going to be so shocked that this is how I am. And maybe this is a trauma response for growing up in a cult. If it is, I think it's a healthy one. At this particular point in my life, I have such an aversion to being compelled or coerced or told I have to do something. And this runs so deep. This is in every way. If I'm going to do something, it's because I want to. It's because I want to. It's because there's a reason that I'm choosing it, because it matters to me. So this means even on societal levels, if I, again, like society had this whole thing of like, go get a 4-year degree and work 40 hours a week so you can do this thing. I don't buy any of that. Like, there's so many things in society that are culty as fuck. There's one of my fucks. A few more to go. And I don't want to participate in it. And it's kind of scary, frankly, because when I left everything to build the life that is new now that I'm in, a lot of old systems that I had that were propping up my life broke down. And I know, and it's already been happening this year, more things are going to break down. But what I'm sort of learning is the breaking down doesn't mean that things aren't going as they ought to. They probably are working the right way. It's just like I'm getting a new center of gravity instead of being like, oh, I need to make money so I can do what I like. If I made enough money, then I can be authentic. If I made enough money, then I can do what I want to do. I can be an artist. No. The game that I'm playing, for me personally, not recommending it to anybody else, is I'm making the creation, the genuine self-expression, the center. Because the truth is, it's the thing I value more than anything. Like, after being muzzled for most of my life, like there's certain things I couldn't express. After being told what to do, what to think, what to wear, who to marry. No, I don't want to live that way. I want to be able to say, this is what I genuinely want to do and what I genuinely think. And it's taken me a while to get to this. Like, if you've seen several other ex-Mormons, they don't talk like this, especially right after leaving. And it's not like I've been right after leaving. Like, we go through this, I don't want to step on anybody's toes phase. I'm so fucking done with any of that. And New York, I think, has helped. I just don't give any shits of dimming myself, dimming any part of my realness for the sake of, I don't know, politeness, like breaking other people's expectations of me. I'm just not, I don't want to do it. And that includes society. And it also includes why I've decided I'm not having weekly episodes right now while I'm figuring things out. Because I need to be in a place where I am just being like, okay, this seems interesting. This is what I'm going to lean into. That way, when I do post something, when I do share a video, like, here's my ultimate. This would be the ultimate, especially in the age of AI. When I post something, and people watch it, I want people to feel this is the most real shit that is on the planet right now, let alone on the internet. Like, it's something that the collective could watch and know that it's not AI, because it can't be AI because of how many layers it was. And if it was AI, then okay, head nod. Like, and again, that's a big mark to play right now. I was just watching an AI video of a lion giving its cub to people in a safari truck while the mama lion was being chased by hyenas, and then it fell. It looked totally real, and it's probably not. Excuse me. But yeah, that's where things are. So just to sort of recap, and then I'll see where else I want to take this conversation. Yeah, I'm just in this phase where the more I've leaned into what it feels like when I've gotten the most quiet, to listen and to feel what really matters to me, as I've leaned into those things, they've turned out well. Even though in the moment, maybe even for the first several months or years, it's painful as fuck. But I've had a reframe of why it's painful. It's not painful because it's the wrong thing to do. For me, it's been painful because I was making decisions against a deeply entrenched illusion of a worldview, of how to be. And so that breaking down is a painful process. But it's worked out. And there's been so many benefits to living this way. I could do a whole, and I might someday, I could do a whole episode in in what it's done for me. It hasn't cured my cough. Well, I actually think it will. I just picked up a cold, and I think it's on the way out. But I think this is where I want to come down to. The journey I've been on has been such a wild roller coaster. From discovering what I was in, realizing it wasn't for me, to becoming the one black sheep in my family of, like, my whole family's been in the same area, Utah, Arizona, forever. Every single person in my family, everyone. In fact, my sister just posted, we have a family Facebook page, and she's just making sure everybody's addresses are updated. Everyone, Utah, Arizona, Utah, Arizona, Calvin, New York City. Like, I'm trying. I think I'm even getting past the point of making sense of it. Now, of like, maybe I'm an alien or something, because I don't know, out of a family of 50, why I'm the one out of the bubble. Like, not just not religious, but actually out of the bubble, deciding to do something way different. But I'm owning it now. I'm not, I want to be done, like, thinking I need to justify anything to anybody, to my family, to anyone, and just be like, oh, this sounds interesting to me. I'm going to do that. Oh, I feel like dancing. I'm going to start dancing. I feel like doing parkour. I'm going to do parkour. I feel like making videos that are more story driven and closer to the thing. I'm going to do that. And I think it's just put me in this mode of, I'm genuinely so, and I did not feel this way at all at the beginning of the journey, but I'm getting to this place where I'm so grateful, and maybe that's appropriate since this is the week of Thanksgiving. I'm genuinely so freaking grateful. So fucking grateful. Add the emphasis there. For the journey that I've been on. Every part of it. From being born in what I was born into, the fight and struggle of getting out, the fight and struggle of establishing a life that's mine, the fight and struggle I'm in now to make a career that makes all of this sustainable, the fight and struggle to keep my apartment with money stress and stuff like that. I'm genuinely so freaking stoked for all of it. And it's taken me a long time to get to this point. Like, there's been times in my life where I've been so stressed with things aren't working. And I feel like I'm finally getting to this place where I'm like, oh, I see what this has given me. I see the perspective it's given me. I see how it allows me to connect with people in such a unique way, and become so curious about them. And I see how this could turn into something. And at the same time, there's still so much unknown. But that right there, that's part of the secret. That's part of the magic. You got to have room for magic. And magic lives in the unknown. Magic lives in the unknown. It doesn't live in the certainty. You squash magic when you insist on the certainty. When you improve your relationship to the unknown and you trust it a little bit, life becomes an adventure. And I feel like that's what I'm on. It's been such an adventure. And it has different twists and turns. It was an adventure when I started this whole journey 10 years ago to become an entrepreneur, to move out of Utah and Arizona for the first time and live in Southern California, to be an entrepreneur, to create freedom, only to find, it wasn't just that I was leaving. I was craving something deeper, existential, a freedom that I didn't even know about. And then I saw freedom, and then I was like, wait, I think it's a deeper freedom. Oh, wait, do I actually believe this? And then getting to that terrifyingly honest answer that I don't believe this, and I wouldn't choose this. I wouldn't choose any of this if I was on neutral footing, now that I see what's out there. And then being like, then what are you going to do with that information, Calv? And then deciding, well, I want to live in truth, at least be as honest as I can, and then leaving that, and then being like, okay, now what do you want to do? Where do you want to live? Well, I want to live where I have felt most myself. I want to live where there's a variety of people. I want to live where culture is, where there's a lot of food. And then choosing New York, even though that was insane at the time. It felt so ridiculous. And then decide, well, what would you want to do? And this, again, still feels ridiculous because it's the one piece that hasn't fully formed yet. It's the whole point of even shooting today. And I was like, well, you've already left a cult. You've done some of the hardest things you've ever done. And part of this, too, at the time, when I was asking myself this question, I'd already done some physically challenging things, too. Like I had run a 50-mile ultramarathon, which is 2 marathons in a row. Since then, I also did another 50-miler without any training, just to see if I could. So I'm like, there's so many things that at the time of deciding them felt ridiculous, felt impossible. So what is the ridiculous, impossible thing that you want to do for a career? And I was like, I want to make a living being Calvin, making stuff that I want to make. Video, books, music, if I get into that. It's crazy if I do that. Okay, here's the thing, and I want to wrap with this. Something is changing, literally, in my entire system. Simultaneously, within the last several months, especially this year, I feel like I'm integrating so many earlier parts of me. I feel like I'm younger in a sense. Like, I'm really 65. Don't I look great? Just kidding. No, I'm 38. I just turned 38. But I don't feel that. And according to even my Whoop, I'm 4.5 years younger than that. But I genuinely am getting more energy, and I'm feeling just a zest for life, for leaning into the things that feel like they're naturally me. And there are things that are popping up. In the religion, I never danced. I love dancing now. I've gotten into it. And one of the other surprises that's just recently come up within the last 3 weeks, I love parkour. What? What? Where did this come from? I haven't done this in my entire adult life. New York City no longer looks like New York City to my eyes. New York City looks like a giant jungle gym. I'm walking through the city and I see something, I jump on it, I jump off, I might kick my legs or something. I am balancing on shit. This morning in Times Square, there's like these posts that are pretty tall. I'm jumping from post to post. There are these, like the other day, there was this pretty tall trash can. And I'm like, I wonder if I can jump over that trash can. I wonder if I can clear it. I jump it. And it feels amazing. All this stuff feels amazing. This makes no sense to me. This makes no sense to me. None of this makes sense to me. For me, as this ex-Mormon white dude, to be getting into dancing, to where I go in a club or a bar and start dancing, and everybody starts dancing, and now there's like 5 or 6 chicks like dancing around me and wanting me to dance with them, and people being like, yo, where did you learn these moves? I'm like, and in the back of my head, I'm like, I just picked this up a couple of months ago. What the fuck? And doing parkour stuff just because it's fun around the city, and some people are like, whoa, bro, that was sick, that was tough. That's something I learned 2 new phrases this week. That's tough. And what was the other one? Factor? I think it was factor. There was another one though too. Like, you're factor. That's tough. Gen Z slang. Yeah. And I really feel that this might, I don't think this is woo-woo, but I really think that every human being is really creative as fuck. And I didn't always feel this way, but I do now. I think every human being is creative as fuck, and I think somewhere from childhood to adulthood, somehow we manage to squash it to death. But here's the crazy part. That happened to me. There's no way. Like, the fact I'm doing parkour stuff, like, I was just thinking about this morning. When I first moved to New York, there was this skating thing that happens every Wednesday. It still happens. I love it. It's called Wednesday Night Skate. And on Wednesday Night Skate, a group of people meet up at Union Square, and we skate all over New York City on the street. People love it. People get out their cell phones. It's like a riot. When I first moved here, I was like, okay, I want to do something fun. And I learned about this Wednesday Night Skate, and I was like, oh, I remember skating. Like, I had skated when I was little, but I hadn't done any major skating for like over a decade, maybe 2 decades. But I had my rollerblades. And so I'm like, trying to dare myself to go. And I decide to go. And I'm kind of rushing because I think I'm going to be late. I think it said be there by 7:45, and I was leaving at like 7:40. And I get my roller skates on. I get out of my apartment, and I start skating. I get so nervous. I get worried if I'm going to make it there in time. I also worry, like, am I going to fall? Am I going to get hit by a bike or a car? And I stop, and I decide to turn around. I'm like, today's not the day. I felt so nervous. And it felt so almost reckless, strangely, to be skating in the street or skating to Union Square. And I turned around, and as soon as I started skating, rollerblading back home, I was like, what kind of person do I want to be? No, I want to face this. It doesn't matter if I get there late. I at least got to try. So I slowly skated towards Union Square. Saw a group of people there. There was 100 people, more than 100 people. I skated through New York City that night. And I had never felt like a kid like I did that night. Like something reignited. I was like, I had so fucking much fun. I went to bed just feeling like I am so glad I did that. Now, skating through New York City right now for Wednesday night skate is not intimidating at all. I've done it so many times. But when I look where I started to now jumping on things and off of things and wanting to learn how to do backflips and shit, what? I don't know where this leads. And the fact that this is coming to me at this point, I'm not 17 years old, but life is also long. It really is. Like, I'm the healthiest I've ever been in my life. I feel great. I feel like I'm entering the prime of my life. And so I want to do the things that actually matter and bring people along that I love, that are like the people that are in my life. Some family, but chosen friends and family here. And so I'm just excited to see where it goes. It's going to be an adventure. So from this point forward, the next episode that's going to be uploaded besides this one is going to be something that, you know, I'm not just filling a quota. It's an episode that I'm like, oh, I wanted to make this and I wanted you to see it. I wanted to share it with you. I wanted it to be a gift. I wanted it to be something that even while I am figuring out my fucking finances and I know one video is not going to be the thing that saves everything, even in that, I wanted to create this thing because it was real for me. It mattered to me. It was an expression, and it is something that is real and that it is worth seeing. Like, that's what I want to make. So the next episode is not going to be a solo episode. It's going to be an episode that has more story to it. It's going to be more up close. It's going to be right there with people in the conversation. Because I don't know what it is. I didn't watch Anthony Bourdain's stuff when I was in the religion. I think I've only really seen one or two of his episodes, but for whatever reason, his energy and what he made, like I've seen clips of his stuff. I've read some of his posts and stuff like that on Twitter and stuff before he died. But I am so drawn to that style of filmmaking, of being there and capturing it and making it real and raw and making something out of it that is bridging divides, bringing people, not just bringing them to the podcast or to the Zoom, but actually taking you, the viewer, there where those people are, wherever they are, where any of us are. That just is so much more interesting to me. So that's what I'm going to lean into. I think I covered everything. There were several political things I was going to get into, like I was going to dissect some Candace Owens stuff, because one of the benefits of decoding cults is you spot stuff everywhere. And so I definitely have some thoughts on Candace Owens. I would say be careful with the stuff that she's posting. She's got some culty stuff. That just turned so many people off, but it's true. I'm not saying to trust everybody else. I'm not saying that at all. But there's some stuff that's very culty. With that, it was really fun to see the Trump and Mamdani thing, like them getting together. I was not shocked at all. It's also fun to see, depending on who is posting. Like if it's a Trump person, they're like, oh my gosh, look what Trump did. He's so good at dealing with people. But if you're a Mamdani person, you're like, oh my God, he's so charismatic. He even got the fascist racist person, Trump. Like everybody thinks it's their guy that did the special magic. It's so interesting to me. And there's other stuff. I want to start bringing my perspectives to some of these issues, because I see what other people are saying and my perspective is not in the conversation. And I mean, I'm going to fucking say this, because I think I think my perspective is worth something. I really do. I really think that the unique lens that I happen to be born into is useful, and not because it's just me. And I don't want to convince anybody of anything, but there's certain things with all these issues that people get so sided. Like, this is our team, this is that team, this is our side, that's your side. And there's so many things that when I look at culture with any particular issue, that they're just missing major things. And I want to somehow, maybe through doing like YouTube lives or something like that, I want to share the things I'm saying, because I think it could help others. I don't want to tell people what to think. I don't want to tell people what to believe. I don't want to tell people like this is the right thing, but I want to say that this is how I'm seeing it, to hopefully empower people to be their own authority ultimately, and notice things and notice themselves and notice why they don't look at certain information, so that you're aware of your own biases and that sort of stuff, so that you can move through the world in a more effective way, because you're basing your lived experience on reality and not what you want it to be. So, yeah. What are your thoughts on this approach? Let me know in the comments. And if you want to see an ex-cult member explore culture and explore the world, please subscribe. You've been in the right place. And especially if you want something that's more human in this divisive world, you're also in the right place. And if you also, if you just think that's interesting to have somebody that was completely sheltered now out in the world, exploring everything, let me know what you think. I'm Calvin, the Cultured Boy, and I will see you on the next episode. Stay curious.